If you want to secure a graduate role for 2026/7, don't let these few months slip by. You need to get on top of your timelines. And so today's video is going to be going over the 12-month graduate program recruitment timelines, seasons, etc. I'm going to explain it. I'm a recent graduate and I managed to land a few offers last year, so I have a little bit of perspective. I've been in your shoes pretty recently. My name is Lorna and I'm from your Grad Diary. Our job here is to get you employed. So you're probably a penultimate year, a final year student, or you're a recent graduate, give or take 2 or 3 years, or you're just someone who likes to be in the know, right? Now, what we're gonna go through today is the difference between graduate programs, graduate roles, and entry-level jobs. We're gonna be focusing on graduate programs, and the most important part of the video is going to be going through the 12-month rundown of company hiring behaviors when it comes to graduate roles that you can expect, as well as what you should be doing right now to prepare. If you would like more content regarding how to secure a grad job in this job market, please like and subscribe, as well as following your Grad Diary on other social media. I'm pretty active on LinkedIn right now. Or you can check out yourgraddiary.com for some informative blog posts, as well as the 80 company Australian grad tracker role to help you get started on your journey, just so you know which companies to start looking at. Anyways, let's talk about the differences between graduate program, graduate role, and entry-level jobs. So a graduate program is a program that's a specific length of time designed specifically for recent graduates. They tend to have rotations, so you can go into different parts of the company or different areas within your department. Graduate roles are roles designed for final year students, but they don't always have a design, if that makes sense. They're just hiring graduates. And a regular entry-level job is an entry-level job. So they don't treat you like a fresh uni student, and there's not really that there is training, of course, but they just treat you like an adult, right? You come in and you work. Whereas graduate programs and grad roles, they tend to give you a little bit of leeway. Why I really like graduate programs is because they offer quite a lot of training and they know that you are new to the workforce. So they really give you time to adapt. But that is the main difference, right? Graduate programs are also quite coveted because they are very, very competitive and they tend to hire the top talent, as well as have quite a few benefits. And you also have a little grad cohort to be social with. But I think that one of the biggest things that people look forward to is rolling off the grad program into a full-time role. It's usually associated with a pay bump and a title bump. So again, those are some key differences. I didn't cover everything. I'm gonna go into another video explaining it, as well as what you should be trying to go for depending on who you are. But anyways, let's jump into the timelines. Oh, by the way, this is based in Australia. So if you're not Australian watching this, your country probably has their own version of this, just in different months. The cycle itself will look pretty similar. So you can still get something out of this video. Anyways, let's start with January. Now, most people are going to overlook January because, let's face it, it's summer break for uni students and it's like 40 degrees every day. But this is when I recommend you starting to mentally prepare for the challenges that lay ahead of you. Yes, it's a rest period. Yes, get your breaks in, go to the beach, but you should also be doing the following. 1, get your documents ready. Academic transcripts, your resume, that should be nice, right? Cover letter template, although a lot of places don't love cover letters. I'll make another video about that. Passport/ID, I'm pretty sure it's usually passport. I don't know why they ask for passport, but I've been asked about that at most companies. If you're an international, get your visa situation sorted, right? Your working visa, clarify what you're on, right? If you're not a permanent resident or citizen, this is really, really important. Put all of these documents into one folder on your laptop or computer. You are going to be accessing this so much during your application processes. Now, next thing is that graduate company dates are slowly going to be released, right? They usually don't tell you too much in advance, but you can start to check out your favorite company's websites. Just type in XYZ company graduate program 2026/7. They will probably give you an estimate. We're going to be opening in February or March. And this is also a good time to start your graduate role tracker. It's basically a list of companies and then also the dates they're opening or not and what stage you're in. If you want a pre-made one, I have an 80 company grad tracker, link in bio, go grab it. It just saves you a lot of time. You can just input the application dates. That's all you need to focus on. But let's move on. This is also the perfect time to get a little bit of extra job experience in, right? People are gonna be very, 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 very competitive. there are going to be some crazy applicants. So you want work experience, and as much as you can. If you can take a little summer internship, even unpaid, or 2 weeks of work experience somewhere does make a difference for your resume. So this is just going to help you become a more competitive candidate. If you want to do a little volunteering during this time, that also looks very good. And I think that is the main thing for January, preparing mentally for the arduous months ahead. Now, February is not technically the peak of application season yet, but from memory, a lot of consulting firms are opening their programs in February. So if you're interested in MBB, Tier 2, or Big 4, you need to keep your eyes open, right? Now, I'm posting this video in February. All the things I said in January, you can do in February too, right? Because peak is March, and we'll get to that. But let's talk about consulting. If you're an international student specifically, I highly recommend you apply to consulting if you want to stay in Australia, regardless of your degree. Many Australian companies do not sponsor work visas, but consulting firms are known to do so, especially Big 4. So I just want you to be informed. And also, consulting is very open to different backgrounds. I applied to consulting roles and got interviews. I'm in marketing. A lot of people who did arts, law, biomedicine, comp-sci also got interviews, also get hired. They're not very traditional anymore. It's not just commerce backgrounds strictly, right? They're looking for, do you think like a consultant? But that's a really good option for people also who are not doing technical pathways if you're an international student. As a lot of companies that do sponsor the work visas for internationals only hire technical pathways. So I definitely recommend taking a look at consulting. Now, if you're into consulting in general, just keep your eyes peeled for February. However, a lot of consulting firms do open their intake halfway through the year, midway through the year, or have a rolling basis, which just means that they hire whenever they need more people. So like a normal job, except it's also for grads. Anyways, there's no strict rule. There's just a general pattern that you see in the previous few years. So that's what I'm telling you. I would also use this period to add the application dates of the non-consulting firms because they're probably going to give you solid dates in February, right? So instead of we're going to be opening sometime in March, they're going to say 1st of March to 17th of March, right? Now, let's talk about March. This is going to be a very, very, very busy time for you. Basically, everything is opening now, and many consulting companies also end around now, open around now. But everything peaks in March from my experience, right? So you're gonna be spending this month doing a lot of applications. I'm talking minimum like 30, right? What you need to be doing is practicing your psychometrics. That's basically an IQ test. They test your verbal reasoning, they test your numerical skills, they test even social skills or alignment with company, but it's basically a bunch of questions that you get given. You also will probably get to the digital interview section where you will be recording yourself answering some questions that they give you. This is really intense, by the way. Most people that I've mentored when it comes to graduate programs, they've been like, the digital interviews are what mentally burn me out the most. So you need to prepare for that thoroughly. Not just preparing your notes, but also mentally preparing for it. A lot of people are not very natural in front of camera, and that's so normal, right? But that's what digital interviews are like. You're not talking to a real person, you're just recording yourself. So you need to get comfortable with that real quick. I would recommend setting some time every single day to either apply or complete a psychometric or complete a digital interview. Why I say every day is because you need to do it gradually, if that makes sense. Most of these, if you pass a resume stage into the psychometric or digital interview, they usually give you a time limit, maybe 2 days, 3 days, 5 days to complete the testing. And so if you just do things in batches, let's say you apply to 5 places on Sunday, you might have 5 tests that you need to get done within 3 days. So I would just apply one thing a day and then do a psychometric, and the next day apply to something else psychometric. Just pace things out for yourself. When you have the grad tracker, you can also keep in mind of the closing date. So just make sure you apply before the closing date. Another question that I get asked a lot is, do you think that there is an impact on my application if I submit later within the opening and closing date, but towards the later end? And I don't think there's an impact. That's my personal opinion. I personally have not seen the inside of these systems, but I don't think so. I've asked people at interviews, when did you apply? I don't really see much of a pattern there. So just pace yourself. I think that's a really important piece of advice when it comes to applying for graduate roles. Okay. Now, April and May, I think these 2 months you're gonna be getting, hopefully, assessment center or interview invites. Assessment centers are usually group interviews where they give you a case and they wanna see how well you collaborate, you work with people. You can also just get a one-on-one interview where they just wanna assess your skills. You might get given a case, you might not. But once you get to this stage, the odds are much better at getting a job, right? A lot of people fall to the wayside in the digital interview, the psychometrics part. So if you get to this in-person or talking to a real person stage, congratulations, you worked very, very hard. There will still be roles opening and everything, but you will need to focus on preparing for your assessment centers, preparing for your interviews. And on the tail end of May, that's when I noticed offers usually roll out. I got 3 offers within like 3 days. It was quite insane. And then I got a few more assessment center invites around then too. A lot is happening in May, in my opinion, if you get to that stage. But I would also spend this time practicing with a friend, with a family member, as well as stocking up, going through my resume, thinking of examples of times where I demonstrated a certain quality, skill, leadership, curiosity, collaboration. But anyways, let's move on. June. So you might get an offer early June where you're successful if you go to the interview. You might also get rejected. You might have nothing at this point. It's a little quieter compared to the previous months. I want to be honest with you, it's really hard to get a job right now. It's really hard. And so if you don't land anything right now, I don't want you to feel bad about yourself. You just need to change your strategy. So you're going to take June to reflect what went well, what didn't go well. I would ask myself, what part am I like getting left behind, right? So if my resume is not passing to the next stage, it's the resume's fault. You need to talk to someone maybe who, I don't know, can fix up your resume, like your careers counselor. If you know someone in HR who's just willing to take a little glance, give you some feedback. If you are failing at the psychometrics, you need to practice those. If you're failing on the digital interviews, you need to get better at those, right? And if you're failing the assessment centers / in-person interviews, I highly recommend calling them or emailing them and saying, thank you so much for the opportunity. Could I please get some feedback? Because I would like to do better next time. I'd like to demonstrate my actual skill set. I feel like I didn't perform to my best potential. And so I would like a little bit of feedback, right? Usually they do give you feedback when you get to the in-person stage. So I would highly recommend you doing that. But either way, just taking a look, giving yourself a little audit and thinking, what can I do better? Because July and August is the second peak of graduate programs, right? It's more things are opening up. Some things don't open up earlier on in the year, they open up later. So you will start to apply again. You will start to get digital interviews, psychometrics, and around August-ish, you might get some interviews and assessment center invites. So that's your second chance to, I guess, redeem yourself. September and October, usually your interviews are happening or your assessment centers are happening. And you might get some offers. Yay, let's hope so. Again, make sure you're prepared. Make sure that you have worked on your weaknesses. And if you're not great at the in-person stuff, you need to practice with a person, right? But if worst case scenario, you get to November and December and you are offerless, I want to say that it's not just you in that boat. A lot of people are, because all the statistics are reflecting that hiring is slowing down. People are cutting on grad program numbers and there are more applicants than ever. So first of all, I don't want you to think, oh, this is a reflection of my value. I'm the worst person ever. I'm unhireable. It's just a really bad time, right? So if you haven't received an offer yet, it's time to either prepare for next year or redirect your energy. So if this is your first year out in uni, remember, most companies accept people 2 to 3 years after graduation. So you have a little bit of a window to go again. But if you didn't get it and this is your last year, right? You're in year 3, maybe just go for an entry-level role. Again, it's a similar skill set. A lot of entry-level roles follow the same thing: psychometrics, digital interviews, in person. But if it's a smaller or medium company, they might actually skip some of the stuff at the start and just give you an interview. And when it's in person or when it's person to person, it's much easier to pass and get an offer. But either way, there is always a way forward. Our goal here is to secure a job, right? Get a salary, get work experience, really settle into a team, get some experience up your sleeve. And so look, graduate programs aren't the end all be all, but this is the general timeline that I've observed. and that a lot of graduate websites will show you too. I think they're amazing resources like Possible, Grad Connection, Seek Grad, I don't know what the new one is called. There's a lot of very good resources floating around online, so utilize those, as well as my website, yourgraddiary.com. I hope that this video was helpful, and please like and subscribe for future videos and stuff about graduate programs. It's quite an intense journey. When I started, I didn't realize it was going to be this rough, but it was. So plan accordingly. Use this video, use the whole 12-month thing. My 80 company grad tracker also includes a 12-month timeline in it with a little checklist, so those will be really helpful resources for you. But I hope to see you soon, and good luck with your grad journey.